country to its knees if it messes with a black man, you're saying that the only protection for black people is that they unite. So that when one black man is touched because he's black, there's some protection for him. Now, it's obvious that that protection does not exist in this country. It does not now exist. And the only people who can have that protection are black people. And black people know that. Now, white people may not know that. So it means that you have to build a movement so strong in this country that if one black man is touched, every black man will rise up and let this country know they're not going to tolerate it.
If one black man is touched.
That's right, because he's black. I mean, if a black man is walking down the streets of Mississippi, down a highway with a Bible in his hand, he is shot because he is black.
That's one incident.
I can name you a lot of others, and you know that yourself.
In the northern ghettos,
if one black man in California is driving his pregnant wife to the hospital and he is shot by a white racist policeman, I can name you more incidents.
then you're saying fight violence with violence.
I am saying that we must build a movement of black people that will protect ourselves so that we are willing to stop that by any means necessary. Now, I'm not concerned about the question of violence. It seems to me that that will depend upon how, in fact, white people respond. If white people, in fact, are willing not to bother with black people because they are black, then there's going to be no question of violence.
When you read stories about difficulties, riots in Omaha or Cleveland or Brooklyn or Chicago or wherever,
I call them rebellions.
they're rebellions. And you see nothing wrong with them?
I think that it is people who are rebelling against a system that has locked them inside tight of ghettos, that exploits and oppresses them, and they have no means of redress to break that system down. We intend to build within black people the realization that that problem is not theirs, it's created by white society. It's purposely created by white society, and then they throw it back on us and blame us. That's the first thing we have to create in black people.
Welcome to another episode of RBN Live Tuesdays. I'm one of four hosts. I'm CJ. What's up, Sabrina, JB, and Rome?
What's going on, CJ?
Happy, yo. Nice blazer, man.
Hey, I know. You had an interview with Margaret Kimberly. Go ahead, Rome.
No, I was telling JB he on mute.
Oh yeah.
you on mute?
Yeah, so Auntie Margaret came by, so I had to make sure I dressed to impress. So and I told her I call her Auntie Margaret because
It's respect,
respect. So I was just like, yeah, Auntie Margaret. When she come by, I gotta make sure. You know what I'm saying? So
So for the black community, we use uncle and auntie if it's a person we respect, like a person that's usually older, but it's not a blood. You don't just call that person by their first name. Yeah. It's just not done. Yeah. So you add uncle, or you add. That's why you hear Snoop say this when talking about Charlie, Uncle Charlie, or something like that. It's just to give respect to the person. Not as formal as saying Mr. and Mrs. We don't want it that formal. So yeah. Today we didn't have a chance to get topics together, so we just kind of threw some things together. The Elon thing is kind of hot, and then something fell in our lap right before we started. The Brianna is getting called out by her guest because of his garbage takes, but blaming it on her. But I just want everybody to kind of check in. What's up with them? Rome, Sabby, and JB, just check in. What's up, Rome? How's it going? What's going on with you?
Oh man, no man, just really just been fucking around all day, taking the day off, man, because we went hard yesterday. I cut a lot of fucking hair, so I'm kind of still relaxing from that.
A lot of people don't know what you did yesterday, so maybe kind of briefly tell people what event you had yesterday.
It was basically a winter event. We gave out coats, blankets, jackets, barbecue, cut people hair, listen to some good revolutionary music. had our flags flying. It was beautiful, man. Y'all need to come out sometime. You know, if you in Detroit, come out. 'Cause I do it every time, and I'm planning on doing something in Flint because they still need help out there. So I'll probably be out in Flint pretty soon. So if you're in Michigan, you can join me anytime you like.
Right on. Cool. And Sabby, how are you doing today? And what's up with you? What's the latest?
I'm doing great. Today was a busy day for me too, CJ.
Mm-hmm.
Today was busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for those who haven't seen, I was on Rising this morning. We were talking about the red wave. There was another guest on who works for the Biden administration, so that was really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Wait till
But
we get to it. We can play some of it because this guy is saying some just off the wall kind of stuff to explain everything. Listen, like we have Rome out in the community doing his thing, cutting hair, feeding the community, just building community with the community. We got Sabby going on Rising, just slaying people. Or just slaying content, not really slaying this person, but just slaying the argument. And then JB had Margaret Kimberly today. So JB, what's up with you and what's the latest for you?
So it was a really interesting conversation. We were talking about Margaret Kimberly, and one of the things that we actually touched on was about was number one, about how the Democratic Party, we expect basically, like I said earlier, a shellacking of the Democratic Party next Tuesday. Interestingly enough, make sure you're here next Tuesday for RBN Live because that's actually on election day that we'll be live. So, we'll be talking about that. But one of the things that I found interesting was I also talked about the recent win of Lula da Silva on Sunday with Margaret Kimberly. And she reminded us basically about what Lula da Silva did as far as the soft coup in Haiti. And she basically said, it's like, yes, his election was a good thing, but it has to be measured because it's like, hold your horses. Lula da Silva is, he has his definite blind spots. So, and then on top of that, she was also talking about how the parliament was actually Jair Bolsonaro's parliament that was elected also. So, even though, a lot of things on his agenda that he wants to do is going to be met with a lot of opposition regarding to the parliament in Brazil. So that's also going to be, something that we talked about. So, and then, we got into how, her rise to how she came to, where she's at now. And that was also a really good, interesting conversation, especially as someone who's a Black woman who is in the independent media space. And so I also use that as an opportunity to encourage a lot of people, particularly a lot of Black women, to also start doing what Margaret Kimberly is doing, or if they want to do what Sabby is doing. So many of us, or Kim Brown, the Banks sisters, so many of us, so many of them are doing, because the thing is that we need more voices like ours in this space. It should not just be RBN and Black Power Media and Black Agenda Report. It should be more of us in this space doing what we're doing. Because, like I said earlier, if you have a bunch of ants, you try to kill all these individual ants, but next thing you know, a whole bunch of them start crawling out. You can't get rid of all of them. And so that's what it needs to be. It needs to be a swarm of us now speaking out against capitalism, imperialism, colonialism, all at the same time, so that people realize their power.
That's why I always remind people, like, if y'all want to start a podcast or any type of information based type of news organization, whatever the fuck it is, do it. Don't be afraid of these people calling you names. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but I'll whoop your ass in real life. What are we? Don't let these people get in your head and push away what you want to do. If you want to be a reporter, if you want to be a journalist, if you want to do some shit like Julian Assange or Snowden, whatever the fuck it is, go ahead, do it, because we need way more people out here. We need way more people pushing back against mainstream media. And
Hey,
who else is better than the people itself? But go ahead, bro.
hey, CJ, can we clip that piece
Yes.
from Rome?
Yeah, I'll make sure
We
to
need to
do
clip
that. Yeah, I will absolutely make sure to do that. And then we also have our brother Nick is in the comments. So all of us are here.
Yeah, Nick.
Maybe not on screen, but all of us are here. And then just to kind of continue to go around the table, I know we finished the table here, but Nick just had an interview with Glenn Greenwald. Nick just did an interview or had a conversation today with Comrade Misty and Fiorella. Do all of you ever think like, wow, all these people, I used to just talk to them on Twitter, and now it's so many people we know off Twitter that's actually doing like Comrade Misty, for example. So long I've just talked to her on Twitter, and now in person she's doing these things. The same with the Bank Sisters. It's just so it's sort of surreal to me to see people out actually doing the work that we've been talking about. Anybody want to chime in on that? Like, is that surreal for anybody else?
I told y'all niggas when I put out that video about people always say Twitter isn't real. Like they know your potential. They know your potential when they see that you are doing good. They only say these things to people who they don't like, and they see that as about to blossom. They try to say, "Oh, Twitter is a real life," and all these people and this and that. No, these people are real. You know what I'm saying? The support is real, and you can build many things. It don't matter what platform you are on. What matters is how you use it, because people have built empires off TikTok. That hasn't been around for 10 years yet. You know, they are getting rich and all type of endorsement deals. And you can do whatever the fuck you want. Just speak up and speak on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, someone came up to me at the Assange rally and said, I'm so-and-so on Twitter. I'm a real person. Yeah, it's funny. It's been interesting, though. I mean, I think that like it's also funny, too, because when you see them in real life, some people are a lot taller than you imagine. And some, like when I met Misty in person, I was like, wow, Misty is a lot taller than I thought she would be. Like looking at her on screen. But yeah, like these are real people.
Yeah. Well, that's good. It's good to see how people are branching out. Go ahead, JB, if you were going to chime in. I think you were.
Yeah. One of the things, I think one of the proudest moments I had, well, two of the proudest moments I had. One of them was when I went to the March for Medicare for All, and I literally had people approaching me saying, "We love what you're doing at RBN." And this is when we had like 7,000 subs. We weren't as much as we didn't have as high as we have now. And people were approaching me at that rally. And now, you know, and then, you know, having, you know, meet Rome in real life, you know,
Right.
Number one, I knew he was tall. So
JB,
but
it's
another
kind of
thing was,
breaking up
it's
a
just
little
coming
bit.
together. Yeah.
That last part.
okay,
If you can
right?
say like the last 5 seconds, yeah, you're good.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I was basically saying that, you know, it was a beautiful thing because the fact of being able to meet in real life and being able to really establish that brotherhood, you know what I mean? That camaraderie, so that it's more real. And this is why, for instance, I do want to meet more people out in real life, especially if you're in Central Florida and you're, you know, trying to do some actions and things like that. I want to meet you. I want to, you know, associate and get out here and talk about these things, because it is very important. And I think this is what especially a lot of the oligarchs do not want. This is why there's a separation, keeping like, for instance, being online is great for the organizing aspect, but once we start to put our feet to the ground, that's when things start to really, you know, come into motion. So I think that also put a fire in me, which I want to thank, you know, people like Rome, you, Sabby, Nick, and even some of the people who are, you know, former RBN members, because it really helps in order to be able to get that revolutionary spirit within you so that you're able to do more. Now, I'm gonna be real. Rome is like the Energizer Bunny. I don't understand how he can go as much as he possibly, even high. He's like zoom, zoom, zoom. I'm like, dude, slow down. My fluffy ass cannot keep up with you.
I'm only here for a couple of days.
You know. Look, hang on. Before we go any forward, Rome, remember when by the time we got to the gas station, and you were like, bruh, you need to go sit on the on the curb right there because you like you about to fall. I was about to fall out, bruh.
He was fatigued for sure.
Yeah,
we just gave out a whole bunch of pizza, fed. We talked a whole bunch of shit, and I forgot they grab some damn chairs. I don't know why the fuck I ain't bring no chairs. Damn, it's always something I forget. One little thing.
No, it's okay. But the thing is that
too much.
You know, but at the same time, it was like I had a newfound respect for the amount of energy that's given to the people. So that's something that also is really touched my heart. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you, man. It takes a lot, but not that much. You know what I'm saying? It's just you got to do what you got to do, and if you know what I'm saying, if you there, you got to make that shit work. And it might.
Speaking of that, here are those pictures as you talk, Rome. I'll toss up some of your pictures from the event. You did. So
is a bad cameraman, so forgive me. I ain't getting no good no good pictures. I wasn't taking no pictures. It was CT.
Oh, you out here starting off throwing people under the bus.
Hell yeah, I thought that nigga soon as I got home. I was like, nigga, I don't see no pictures of my mama. Damn.
Oh, here's one of the haircuts. This is a good picture. I think that's a good picture. And that's just a person you met that day, or these are people you knew? These are just people that heard about it and they showed up.
Yeah, this actually across the street from a homeless shelter on the east side. We got set up, put our flags out there, set up some barbecue, got our tables ready with the coats and blankets and whatnot. And, the people that work there already know me anyway, so they was just sending the people over, telling them what I had and whatnot. They came over, we talked. They gave me a card. They actually thanked Revolutionary Blackout too. It's upstairs, but it's everything went well, man. It was shit. We ain't had no fights, nobody arguing like last time. So shit, it was all good. It was all good, man. I need to go back. In a couple of days, I had promised a couple of them to come back because my clippers was dying and it was getting dark. So I'm gonna come back and finish up.
That's the same guy. This is the same guy.
Wow.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
That's what I said when I got down. I looked at him like, oh shit, you look like a different man.
Yeah, haircut. That's what a haircut can do,
man.
To you.
Right?
Here goes
some. He'd be able to get a fucking job, right? He'd probably walk in the goddamn Walmart and get a job. See, people never know.
They'll hire him. Yeah. This is great. There's a flag there. There's the food. This is the community that RBN speaks about. RBN encourages people to do. RBN will be doing. So, like I said, the LA branch will be launching this month in November. We're working with Watts Community Core. You can look them up. They're pretty popular. And doing some work in the Nickerson Garden projects, and also turkeys is what we're going to be doing in November. So we'll talk more about that later. But let's now kind of move.
We need to talk about getting in the grapes. We need to make a way to get in the grapes.
You mean wine grapes?
No, nigga. Yeah, the grapes.
Yeah.
Them niggas. We need them.
Yeah.
We need the Crips on our side, especially out there.
Oh, great. You talking about Grape Street? You can say that. I thought you were talking about something else. Yeah, Grape Street. Yeah. No, I don't get what you're saying, because you criminalize like the physically strong men and put them in prison. That's like in the art of war. That's what you do. You eliminate the men in this struggle. So, but let's move to, or let's go back to the graphic and let's tell people kind of what we'll be talking about. Blue Checks is kind of going crazy because I guess this is a class struggle for them. I put that on there. I guess this is a class struggle for them that they're fighting against this, like that they're gonna be paying. It was said or reported that was $20, but now I'm gonna show you the tweet in just a second. It's now down to $8 is what he tweeted out. Is that he's gonna be charging. So he's even hooking up his own class. Like he said, okay, $20 is too much. Like this is really like what a Hulu membership. This is less than a Hulu membership at this point. And I'll put his tweet up, and then we'll go to a chat check really quick. But I can put the tweet up just in the background as we go through it. But this is the tweet. It's a thread, and everybody and their mama on the left, on the liberal camp, in the liberal camp, I should say, has responded to this. Of course, you know, all the TYTs, the Janks, the Nina Turners, they've all responded to this. Yeah, it's a class struggle for them. But it's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, this is just too.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Like this is $20. You're a part of the PMC class. But anyway, let's do a chat check. Any good comments? Let's toss it up. Let's just make sure our audience is being seen. We threw a little bit up earlier, but I'll go up. I heard somebody shouting out Rome, of course. I saw some shouts out to Sabby. If you find him. Oh, here goes Nick. We need more amazing Black women in media like Sabby and Margaret. That is absolutely true. And the reason to me why those two are particularly specific, not just any Black female, you two, Sabby and Margaret, are speaking to not falling for this duopoly bullshit. And that's important because they have some of these left media figures who have like Black guests on their show. But those Black guests are always people in the same camp, always pushing the Democratic Party, always pushing the same sort of PMC sort of thing. So it's important that Sabby and Margaret are in these spaces, along with the Bank sisters and some others. Did you want to comment on that, Sabby, at all?
Yeah, I think that's a good point that you brought up, CJ. I never really thought about that, but it's true. A lot of the Black women that I do see on those shows, they're pushing the Democratic Party, especially CNN and MSNBC and things like that. They only bring on those voices, not people who are saying, yeah, the two-party system is a failure.
Right. So it's to stay in the same context. Were you going to chime in, JB?
Yeah, I was gonna go to some chats that I thought that were kind of.
Yeah, go ahead. Throw those up there, sir.
So Amin Zari says a non-user is right. Anyone who doesn't click the like button is CIA. So do what a non-user just said. If you are don't be a fed and not click the like button.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks to Aisha says I'm an anarchist and I love your channel. Sabby, I watch you all the time too. Thank you, RBN, for all that you do. You are all speaking truth while so many are caught up in the lies. Thank you. Thank you, Aisha.
Oh, thanks.
We also have Kyle Jones saying PMCing ain't easy.
No.
I think you always have kind of funny comments because I remember doing another funny comment you put up. But go ahead, JB.
And then this one's from Eric. Eric, Blue Light Special of Blue Chicks.
Everybody's gonna be
Bro, yo, everybody in the chat, come up with some of your funniest, comments you can think of about this whole story. Because this thing is just funny. This is a hilarious
real
story.
Funny.
Mm-hmm.
Let's like the stream. We're at 130 likes, but we have over 300 viewers. Could we push to 200 likes? If we push to 200 likes, we'll have a lot more people in the chat to have this discussion. I'm sure some of you come down on. I want to see what others come down on this class struggle of this blue checks.
I believe they really don't.
But like the stream, go ahead, Rome.
They really don't give a fuck about this shit. I pay for Twitter Blue. I don't give a fuck about that shit.
Yeah, me too.
I don't even see it when it come out of my shit. I'm poor as hell. You think they're gonna see $8 coming out of their goddamn? No. They just need something to bitch about because they lost their billionaire, their favorite billionaire, for this billionaire, and he's gonna turn it into a business like a businessman would do. I don't know what else you thought was gonna happen. It's a fucking billionaire. I mean, Jack was selling you guys information.
Mhm.
At least this nigga letting you know that you're gonna have to pay to stay or pay to play.
Mm-hmm.
I think Twitter Blue's actually worth it because it allows you to post longer videos.
Right.
Rome got us all on that. He was like, y'all need to sign up for Twitter Blue so you don't have to keep clipping these videos.
Yeah.
10-minute video.
That's why now I always clip a bunch of long videos specifically because I'm getting my $5 worth. I'm clipping long videos every month. So absolutely. If you didn't know, we crossed 300. We crossed 24,300 last night. So we're at 24,319 subscribers. Just the last week, we're back at what our first year numbers were. We were doing like 100 a day. We're very close to doing 100 a day. So that's awesome. 24,319 subscribers.
Sometimes when we move this fast, I be getting kind of skeptical, man. I be like, who the fuck
What you
making
be
all
thinking?
these fake ass pages?
What do you think?
All these fake ass emails and subscribing to RBN. Hell no.
Yeah, well, it's some alphabet people here, if you know what I mean. It's some FBI people here watching and listening to us, but that's fine. That's okay. So we did the chat check, we did the like check. I think we can get into one of the topics. I think we should start with the Sabby topic because I know your time is limited. So, Sabby, do you want to share it, or do you want one of us to share your video? And then we can talk about it because we do want to get into. I don't think Rome, if you hadn't had a chance to see it, the guy who's on here with her is just he's not the best. Let's just say that. But I think you said he's from the Obama or Biden administration or Obama administration.
Biden one. I get them mixed up, right? Because
same shit.
They're the same, same thing.
But
he's from one of those.
Here.
Okay, so we can get into that topic. Let's just play some of it. And can you kind of preface it and tell us, lead this segment? Tell us what this is what is the segment about, and then we can get into it. So I'll pass it to you, Sabby.
Yeah, so they were talking about the red wave, right? So there was a comment made on Joe Rogan's podcast, of course. And Joe Rogan made a joke about it, about the red wave coming. And so that was one of the topics. And the other topic was a progressive coalition that's trying to get swing voters to basically just come together just to say no to Trump. And I said, I think that's a bad idea because you're not like, that's already what the Democratic Party is doing. Where's the progressive action? But those were the two topics. But yeah, the other guest that's on, he's part of works with the Biden administration.
Wow, so Sabby's on with Biden administration officials now.
Award-winning journalist.
Yeah.
Sabrina.
Sometimes you can see a surprised look on his face from what you said. It's like, wow, they're allowing this to be said on TV. Because he's expecting you also to stay within certain boundaries.
Yeah.
He's
like I bet she's not gonna say that if I say this. Like shit.
Yeah. So, all right, Sabby, it's yours.
Red wave that's coming is going to be like the elevator doors opening up in The Shining. That's what I think. I think people are just like, what the are you saying? They're making Republicans.
That was podcast giant Joe Rogan with his prediction for next week's midterm results, which are expected to be a referendum on the Biden presidency and the state of the economy. We'll get right into it. Joining us now to discuss is host of the Sabby Sabs podcast and co-host of Revolutionary Blackout Network, Sabrina Salvati, and former special assistant to President Biden and former White House press secretary for First Lady Jill Biden, Michael LaRose. So welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Good morning.
I'll start with you, Michael. Is Joe Rogan right? Is this prediction accurate? Is this going to be a bloodbath, a red wave? And are Democrats, through their approach here, minting Republicans?
I'd hate to be the one to say yes or no to a red wave. But like when I think of red waves, I think of like 1994 when Republicans unseated the sitting Speaker of the House, or 2010 when they took out 2 committee chairs who'd been serving for decades. I don't really know what polls he's looking at that says that, because these Senate races are unusually tight. Republicans, in theory, should have put away some of these Senate races a long time ago. And I think where you see Democrats running strong in these Senate races, in Ohio, in New Hampshire, in Georgia, the Republicans who are running for governor are completely outpolling the Republicans running for the Senate by 5 to 7 points. So something's going on, and I think it looks like, or I think it seems like what Mitch McConnell referred to as candidate quality. And you're seeing that in the polling. It's really hard to vote for people you don't like personally, and the Republican candidates running for the Senate have consistently higher personal disapprovals than the Democrats running.
Sabby,
Yeah,
could you
no, I
pause it
agree
here?
with that. I've said on the show a couple times.
What I wanted to bring
That's my
up,
dickhead ass.
what I wanted to bring up was, you notice how this guy is moving the goalposts on what is considered a wave, because he now is trying to say, I'm defining a wave by if you're taking out members of leadership, not just simply the amount of flipped seats. You see how he's moving the goalposts because he knows that if you define it by flipped seats, it is going to be a red wave. At least that,
Right.
at least that's what I think. What do you think, Sabby? What do you think, Rome, as far as a red wave? Do you think it's coming?
Shit, you know what? I never even thought about it, but you know what I do hope? I hope it's not a red wave. I hope it's a blue wave. I hope Democrats get every seat in every branch of government that they are running for. So they will have no more excuses, and the people can stop hiding behind these motherfucking liars and call them out for what the fuck they actually are. It don't matter if you got 50 motherfuckers in a seat or 100. They all are cowards. They all are elite, and they don't give a fuck about you. That's what I think. Fucking red wave.
Well, there was something he mentioned, and for reference to people, when you do go on to Rising, like you have a short amount of time to kind of say what you need to say. But there was something like looking back on this now when he said that some of the governor races are different compared to the Senate races in those same states. What that tells you, if the Republican governors are doing better, or excuse me, if the governor is doing better than the person that's running for the Senate race, what that says to me is that there's something happening on the local level that the people like. So, for example, with Georgia, they gave people in Georgia checks. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but they were giving them checks, not just like that stimulus check that we all got, but that was one of the things. So there's something that is happening on the state level that Congress is not doing, or the Senate, the National Senate is not doing. And that could be why some people are not going to vote down ballot.
That's a good point. Good point. Anything, JB, before we go back to the video and get Sabby's reply?
No, you can keep going.
That in some way the Democrats are lucky that in these key Senate races, the Republicans seem to have candidates that are either too far right outside the norm or are just disliked for whatever reason.
And part of that is that they keep this addiction to Donald Trump and letting him crown their candidates in these primaries, a guy who lost the popular vote twice and just got killed with independents in 2020. And he's independents are really turned off by him, and they're reminded every time they see him. That's why they voted against him.
But Sabrina, is that, well, that could be good short-term news for the Democratic Party right now. It still doesn't speak well to their long-term kind of planning or creating a coalition of people who are excited to vote for Democrats. I mean, what might, if they do kind of limp over the finish line here, it's going to be very close either way. It's not going to be because, the Democratic candidates were really resonating with people, but they're just at the end of the day, even though they could vote for Brian Kemp or whoever it is, they couldn't vote for Herschel Walker. Like is that actually good news for Democrats in the long term?
I wouldn't be too sure. I actually had a caller that called into my show last week. She's in Pennsylvania, and she's African-American woman, and she said that she will be voting for Dr. Oz. And she's voted Democrat in the past elections. And her concern is mainly the economic issues that have happened under the Joe Biden administration, under Democrat leadership currently in this country. So I think this is what happens when the economic needs of the people are not being met by the current administration. So we saw this happen under Obama, right? 2016, it swung completely in the other direction. And that's how we got Donald Trump. So I think the Democratic Party has made a mistake here by focusing primarily on the cultural issues, which, for example, the overturn of Roe v. Wade, it's not as important to voters as they thought it would be. Most voters are focused on the economic situation that they have in this country right now and inflation. And I think the Democratic Party, if they don't find a way to really focus on that, I mean, we're getting close here and looking at the dates. If they don't find a way to really focus on that, they're not going to win this month.
Yeah, Sabrina, it really does feel like.
All right, just went out there like Muhammad.
So this speaks to the issue of the Democratic Party thinking that Roe v. Wade is going to be the focus that really pushes voters to come out. And from everyone that I've spoken to, like, that's not their number one issue.
One thing I think is the Democratic Party is hyper focused on social policy, whereas everyone else is like, no, where's the economic policy that's actually helping us? And this is the part where I actually played for Margaret Kimberly on my show earlier, and she was in agreement with Sabby, basically meaning that not that Roe v. Wade isn't important, but number one, the people aren't stupid. They know that Obama said he was going to codify Roe v. Wade back in 2008, and he had a majority in the House and a supermajority in the Senate, and he never did it. They've had over 50 years to do it, and they still didn't do it. So it's not lost upon any of us that they're not actually going to codify Roe v. Wade. A lot of us we actually peeped the game that they're just using it as a fundraising tool. And so what a lot of people are looking at their pocketbooks. They are looking at their wallets. And so what people are seeing is, unfortunately, the people who are on the far right are people realizing that their actual pocketbooks and their bank accounts were actually a little bit more fuller when the Republicans were in office. And that is horrible. Because the thing is that if you guys can't even beat the Republicans at the economic game, then that means that, and I asked this to Margaret Kimberly, I was like, is the shellacking that they are going to have next Tuesday, is this buffoonery or is this intentional? And so she thinks that it's more buffoonery. I am more cynical, and I honestly think this is all intentional, because I honestly do think that the Democrats and Republicans are working in tandem with each other, and the Democrats are actually making it seem like, oh, sorry, we dropped the economy, we didn't mean to do it, and then next thing you know, that's when the Republicans come in behind and go, hey, I heard you guys need a better economy. But then once they get in power, then that's when they start doing, oh, well, for the economy, we're going to have to cut tax cuts for the really wealthy, and we're going to have to put in all these more austerity measures just so that we can get it to the job creators. And so really, the Democrats and Republicans are actually working in secret together in the back, and they make you think that it's just like I said, you got one person that says, oh, Huggies is the best brand, and another person that says Pampers is the best brand, but realizing they're all both owned by Procter & Gamble, so it doesn't matter which one you buy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh man, I want Pippen to win. I want Jordan to win. They're both on the Bulls team. It doesn't matter which one you vote for, because it's all going to go to the top. So that's my whole thing, and of course, people just are
great analogy.
Yeah.
JB with the analogies. Go ahead, Ron.
No, I wasn't about to say shit. I was just.
He was.
I was just.
So what I wanted to add is that we have to be able to, and I said this in another stream, like we have to be able to clearly, when we're talking to the working class too, to clearly identify issues that are more important than others. Like if we don't have that ability to do that, like like if we can't speak to the working class and have them understand that defund the police comes second to food on your table.
Yep.
Abortion comes second to food on your table. Like, this shouldn't be hard for us to acknowledge that, but it feels like because people don't want to offend, but that is just a material fact that we have to like accept and embrace, especially if we're trying to talk to the working class. Because if we go to them and we trying to tell them that defund the police and abortion is the same thing as food on their table, they ain't gonna really be down with us like that.
Yep.
They're not gonna be down with us like that. So we can go back to the video unless anybody had any other words. Go ahead.
Like when Joe Rogan says they're minting Republicans, I understand what he means, because I have seen a lot of people and heard from a lot of people like your caller who have been lifelong Democrats and who are saying things that Democrats' failure to respond specifically to really top of mind issues like the economy, issues like the war in Ukraine. We saw the Progressive Caucus really get slapped down for accommodating even a little bit of the majority opinion of 57% of Americans who want there to be more of a push toward peace in that region. And it does seem in some ways that it's not that the Democrats are talking about abortion, but there seems to be very little space to talk about almost anything else. And that is causing people to find a weird alliance with the Republican Party that's never existed before. Does that resonate with you?
It really does. It's interesting. I've actually spoken to Bernie Sanders supporters, and even some of them said they're voting Republican, which is not what I recommended them to do. I recommended them to leave the two-party system altogether. But even some of them have swung in that direction, because it's not that they don't care about Roe v. Wade, but it's more so that people who are working class and people who are poor, they're more concerned about how are they going to pay for groceries next month, if they're going to be able to afford gas to get to work. That is the number one issue for most of the voters in this country. So I think the Democratic Party, for a long time, they have focused on these cultural issues. This is how they sold Barack Obama to a lot of people. They said he could be the first Black president. So-and-so can be the first Black this, the first Black that. And at the same time, the voters' economic needs are not being met. So where that may have worked before in the past, I don't think it's working this time around.
Could you pause it there,
Michael? You were part of.
This is such a
look at their face. Hold on, look at their face.
Oh yeah, this is the point where you see his face, because when you said I advocate for people to leave the duopoly, that's the part where I think he didn't realize was going to be said on national on this corporate media, and I think he's
he's saying these motherfuckers
about that.
Bree know what she's doing. She be like, I'm gonna get these motherfuckers. I'm pretty sure she imagine walking around a whole bunch of these motherfuckers, right? And this is all you hear all day, and she's the only one pushing back. Like, yeah, it makes sense to go call the Avengers or something. Shit, get some backup. You know what I'm saying? Fuck these niggas out, bro. They've been like, you know what I'm saying, push back on them.
But what I want to also add is that the reason, because everybody is saying this, Sabby, everybody, like the recommendation, everybody is saying this to Democrats. Like, even if you go on MSNBC, they're saying economic message. And why aren't they doing this? Because they don't have one. Yeah, they're in power, so they can't do what Republicans can do. Republicans are out of power, so they're going to say, oh, we're going to give you this and give you that and give you this. They can't do that. They're in power. So people are really going to expect that, because it's like, well, you're in power. It's none of that's going on. So I think they refuse to do it, and they're leaning on these cultural issues is because they don't have an economic message to give, and they know they're not going to deliver on it. So that's the reason why I think they're not going to go to that.
And CJ, if you look at it, it's a day late and a dollar short. I mean, the election is literally next week. So what can they really run on to say, oh, well, we did that? No, y'all didn't do shit. Y'all didn't do nothing. Nothing. So the thing is that everybody knows it. So they're trying to go, Roe v. Wade. And we're like, motherfucker, you guys haven't codified in 50 years. What makes you think we're going to do it right now? Like, You guys haven't done
That's a
it,
good
so
point.
guess what?
That's a good point.
Look, I'm gonna be real. It's just like you got a little kid that you said, if you don't do what I tell, if you don't clean your room by the time I get home, then you're gonna get punished. Well, then you get home and the room's still dirty. Oh, I'm about to clean it right now. Nigga, you didn't clean it while I was gone, so that means it ain't gonna get clean in the first place. Right. So guess what? You're about to accept your punishment. So that's what it is, right? So guess what? They didn't clean their room for the last 4 years, when they a couple years, when they actually had power. So guess what? They're about to get shellacked. Oop. They're gonna get oops upside the head by the American people. So that's what, there it is. You know.
I love this comment because that reminded me of what I was gonna say. Look at Briefface though. Look at Briefface. She's like, yeah, buddy.
I think we just caught.
I was gonna get you together.
No, somebody said that. Now I do remember somebody on Twitter was pointing out how Bree's expressions was something in this interview. I just noticed. That's pretty funny.
Get you, sucker.
But let's play the video. I'm curious to hear Robbie chime in. I know a lot of people don't like Robbie. I think he's funny. Like I like to listen to him talk because he's funny. Not that I believe what he's saying.
To put you on the spot, yeah. But how much does this feedback, is that sinking in? Is that making its way to Joe Biden's ears? Are they getting it that they are losing a kind of working class support for economic reasons, maybe some crime reasons, maybe some education policy, a variety of things?
Barack Obama gets it. He was on the campaign trail characterizing things in a way that I think had a really broad appeal. He talked about abortion, but it was maybe the third or fourth thing that he brought up in a sequence in his speech. He called out Republicans for not having a substantive program on the economy, despite winning that issue simply because of the power of not being in office and thinking that people just want to change of horses in midstream. So, Obama seems to get it. Progressives have been calling it out for a long time. Why haven't we seen a kind of messaging more from the Biden administration that does seem to foreground the economy?
Well, I think... Well, I would disagree. Obviously, I think it is sinking in. I think you're seeing it in wage hikes that are going up from employers who are attracting more workers. The job market is the best it's been in decades. In August, the prices for home ownership fell, I think the fastest rate in 11 years. I just don't buy that this is an economic issue. I also don't know if that's always the case of the reason why people vote. You might be unhappy with the economy, but that doesn't mean you're going to vote for Dr. Oz. Hillary Clinton did actually win voters who said the economy was their most important priority in 2016. George Bush lost when unemployment was at a high back then of 6%. People don't always really vote their pocketbooks. They may tell you that. But I don't necessarily think it's true. Well, what do I think? What is? I mean,
why is it that in a race like the one with Herschel Walker?
Sure.
Go ahead. I understand that typically the administration in power loses seats, and so there's a way that it being competitive at all is a credit to the Democrats.
It's very standard operating procedure.
But also Herschel Walker being who he is, a man who I wouldn't necessarily describe as especially knowledgeable or articulate, and who has a lot of moral failings.
Certainly
and
not
scandal after scandal. Exactly.
Can you pause it here?
Why is it so close if it's not?
Bree, like if Rome was to translate what she's saying here into his language, he'd be like, Herschel Walker is a dumb motherfucker. But the way she like classes it up, like, that's what Bree does. But I think it's funny because even she is finding it hard to kind of class up Herschel Walker. So I just wanted to interject on there. But Rome, how would you describe the same thing that
I would have definitely called him a fucking idiot on national TV. Like, what else is he? Like, and then his whole family all coming out against. Come on, man. But she got her job for a reason.
Yeah. That's nice. All right, you can go back to the video. I just wanted to point that part out.
about some of these other kinds of what is driving?
Well,
the closing of some of those
Georgia is
races?
basically the new Pennsylvania. I mean, I think Joe Biden was the first president to win Georgia since 1996. So it's still an incredibly divided state. I don't remember the exact margin, but as you know, I think we had a certain president say he just needed 11,000 more votes in order to win. So it is incredibly, when it comes to voter registration there, it's incredibly tight. It's divided. I think the bigger story is that Warnock, being an incumbent in a really bad year for Democrats, is 3 points ahead of Herschel Walker. I would say go back to Pennsylvania. If you look at the polling there, the entire fall, the entire summer, Fetterman has led, I think, in every poll except one. It's the exact same climate as 2010. Pat Toomey trailed in one poll against Joe Sestak. And the spread John Fetterman has is greater than his.
Yeah, but 2010 wasn't exactly a banner year for Democrats.
Exactly. That's my point. There's no way John Fetterman should be in a better position than Pat Toomey was to win.
Well, according to new acts.
I just have to jump in here and say something. Like, I don't think it's a bragging point for him to say that it's Walker and what's the other guy? See, I don't even remember the guy's name. Warnock. Yeah. I don't think it's a bragging point to say that Warnock is leading by 3 points. Warnock is the incumbent and Herschel Walker is an idiot. Yeah. He should be leading by more than 3 points. That's the problem. Like
the margin of error. That's the margin of error, Sabby.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, Warnock is literally, you know, eking by in the polls against a Cro-Magnon. I mean, against a Neanderthal, and you mean to tell me that that's as good as you're going to do? And by the way, while we're talking about 2010, the Democratic Party lost over 1,000 seats in 2010. So that's not something to brag about. Oh, well, this person.
Damn it, JB, you took my talking point.
Sorry. I didn't mean to do that capitalist move right there. Sorry, I stole something from you that you were trying to do. But yeah, I mean, 1,000 seats in 2010, and then guess what? You know, they got shellacked. So I think it's going to be another 2010-esque type of bloodbath that's going to happen next Tuesday.
Yeah, people are. I think it's projection. It's them trying to get people to believe, because if you get people like these strategists know like human psychology. So if you get people to believe this person is a winner, that can get a certain segment of people to actually vote for that person, because Americans want to vote for a winner. So this projecting, oh, they're gonna do well. I'm with you, JB. I think they're gonna get sort of massacred next Tuesday. I think they're probably gonna lose. Is it I said they could lose Arizona, maybe not, but they could lose Arizona. I think they're gonna lose Nevada. And I think if it's this close, because these polls are always under polling Republicans. So so I think that especially in this Georgia race, I think Herschel Walker, I can't believe I'm saying this, I think Herschel Walker is going to win out there because they're going to vote Republican out there. So I just think that's what's going to happen. I think the red wave is coming.
Oh yeah. And it sucks because a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot, but too many people really believe that the GOP is the anti-war movement right now. It's the anti-war party right now. And one of the main things I hear when I'm talking to people is money being sent to Ukraine. Yeah. And that right there, it reflects on everybody. Like the homeless talk about it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how it affect everybody. And speaking of underpolling, they don't just underpoll Republicans. They forgetting about the black people and the young people that they never polled. We never got polled.
I've never been polled ever.
Okay. Nope, me neither.
All right. they are underpolled, and there's so much information out here, and so many new grown-ups from the last generation. They ready to do whatever it takes to You know what I'm saying? To not go to war, to eat tomorrow, to get some, you know what I'm saying, get a better job. I mean, or fight for better wages, whatnot. But they ain't gonna sit here and keep waiting on Democrats. I know that. And like we said before, the damn it, it was something JB said. Well, fuck it, we can move on because this nigga here is getting on my nerves.
Yeah, it's
So this is-
almost. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
it's almost-
Sabby.
This is the part here where they talk about this initiative to unite swing voters over Trump bad, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just one thing.
Hmm?
Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
JB.
Just one thing I wanted to add also, because he was talking about the economy. Just to let you guys know, and I went over this on Sunday on RBN. The World Socialist website actually put out a article talking to the title of his Wall Street cheers the prospect of mass unemployment. And basically that was talking about how the Fed is going to be increasing interest rates in order to cause mass employment in order to quell the influx of inflation within the country. So even still, even if the Democrats somehow won, this shellacking that we see, even if it didn't happen next Tuesday, it will be delayed and it'll be even worse in 2024. So this is something that he is not even seeing on the horizon. So just wanted to point that out.
Absolutely.
Coalition of progressive groups is launching a multi-million-dollar ad campaign ahead of next week's midterms with the message, "Your fundamental freedoms belong to you." The quote, "Protect Our Freedoms" coalition is focused on appealing to the swing voters and anti-Trump Republicans who voted Biden into office in 2020.
They want to make clear that this election is not a referendum on the current president, but instead a choice between MAGA Republicans and Democrats. Sabby, what do you think about this choice?
I think this is a bad idea. One of the things I noticed in that article is that they're not trying to unite swing voters over policy. They're trying to unite them over Orange Man bad. And that's no different than what the Democrats are already doing. And it doesn't seem to be working for them, right? So how do you do that? Because we talk about the problems a lot, but I think it's important to also talk about the solutions. The way that you do that is through ballot initiatives in these states. So I live in a ballot initiative state. And one of the things that I have noticed is that when you have these questions on the ballot, question 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, when you go to vote, you are focused solely on the question because it's not attached to a candidate. Therefore, it's not attached to a political party. So this is how we were able to pass like legalization of marijuana in Massachusetts, because there was no candidate attached to it. And that was a policy that Democrats and Republicans approved of. Medicare for all is on the ballot this November in Massachusetts. Now, it's only for certain counties. The organization responsible for this feels it's best to start small and then see how it works. And if it does work well, then they can put it throughout the rest of the state. But a lot of these progressive policies have already been passed on the local level, right? So Bernie Sanders' wealth tax, that's on the ballot this November. This is the fastest way to implement those policies. And I wish this coalition was doing that, uniting those voters over policy and not so much Orange Man bad.
What do you think about this message,
Well,
Michael?
I think that taking away a fundamental right for women to decide her own health care is actually policy. I think it reminds me a lot of 2012 when
Bro,
Can you pause it here? Can you pause it here?
Bro, shut up. What the fuck he talking about already? Look, even women is like, y'all are playing yourselves on this issue right here, you know, because we already know we are not dumb. You guys are not gonna codify it. Stop playing with us. You know what I'm saying? It's better to just leave it alone altogether and stop giving my time and my money, you know what I'm saying, my energy to this, because you obviously aren't gonna do your job. And man, you know how many fucking corporations got their money, you know what I'm saying, going back and forth towards this shit these lobbyists playing? No, it don't work like that. It's just corporate dictatorship.
I don't he's making a stretch by calling this policy, because it's not, to me, I wouldn't call this a policy push point, is because it's been settled by the highest law in the land, or the highest court in the land, and they've decided that. And we all know the Democrats aren't going to do it. So to me, when Sabby was saying policy, she's talking about future policies to help economically.
Yeah.
That's what she's talking about, not policies, or at least that's what I'm hearing you say, Sabby, but not policies in the sense of the policies that the Democrats didn't protect before. Now we're supposed to now vote you back in to help get those rights back that you didn't protect in the first time. It's like, it's ridiculous. So to me,
you got all this power, and like they got power to do something right now, dog. They can make a slam dunk on the midterms if they just codify Roe v. Wade, did this and that. You know what I'm saying? Just throw some shit to the wall and hope it stick.
I think people would be surprised to hear too how many people, and not just Republicans, but there are some Democrats and independents too that feel it should be left up to the states. And that's the thing. That's something I found out, like doing call-in stuff like that. But like, I think that this message that they send, that's what the Republicans want. That's actually not true. So I don't know. I feel like he's just trying to fearmonger people. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah, they're trying to bank on this. All they have is this. That's all they have. Because if you think back, when is their most positive? This is how their strategies look. When in the past 12 or 24 months, when we have the most positive, our polling been? It's been around Roe v. Wade being overturned. That anger is when their kind of polling went up, and then it came back down. But that's so they're banking on, let's try to tap into that bump we got out of that, and let's just go hard at abortion. And this is why this is not a good strategy. Like, I'm pro-choice, but it's a lot of people that's not like. There's a lot of people that's not. You get what I'm saying? Yep. Like, it's a lot of people that's not, that still, or don't have this as a top issue. Like it was a lot of time when I was younger, when I was in high school, it wasn't like I was for or against. It was just like, it wasn't an issue that I knew involved anybody. So it was never top of mind. I never thought about it. But what I did think about is when I couldn't pay my bills, that was something I always thought, that was something that I always thought about. So them trying to spin as if abortion or the right to abortion or Roe v. Wade being overturned affects the same amount of people that not being able to have food affects. Like, it's not.
And the way Democrats are going with the economy today, I mean, even if y'all did, do something with abortions, shit getting so high, people won't even be able to afford condoms. So it's still gonna be making them damn babies.
But what is your thought? And I want to start with Sabby. What's your thought on, like, this is just a dance that the Democrats and Republicans are playing. The ruling class wants abortion overturned because they want more workers, and Democrats just got to play this. We're weak and we lost. But this is what the ruling class wants because they see. I forget what the name of the word. Something participation, labor participation is going down. Like it's going down. The birth rate is going, like the amount of births are going down, and to them that's workers. So what is your take on that?
It's true, because Bill Gates, there was an article, I think it was like a month or two ago, where Bill Gates said he was concerned about the lack or the decreasing birth rate. Why would Bill Gates be concerned about that? This is the thing. Like, they know that like millennials and Gen Z, they know that like a lot of us are not, having kids. So they see that. And you would think they'd be more concerned about the fact that you have Gen Z and millennials that can't afford to buy a home. You would think they should be more concerned about that, the economic issue, not so much childbirth. You see what I mean? You see the problem?
Exactly.
But
this is capitalism. This is libertarian economics. Is that your guiding philosophy is that I don't help nobody, no matter what. Not like I'm keeping every cent I get, and I'm taking your cents too. Like it's just it don't matter. Like they literally could be on a boat and it's sinking, and you like give me $1 to get off, and they'll be like they're trying to bargain. Like that's the level of just crazy. I don't know what to call it.
One thing I think that needs to be thought about is what did slave masters do when their slaves weren't having kids? They forced them to breed.
Yep.
Yeah.
What makes you think that shit has changed? We still have slave catchers. We still have slavery. What makes you think they're not trying to force breeding just so that they can have more workers? Now, the thing is that unfortunately, that's the way capitalism operates. And so, yeah, look, fascism has been here for a while. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like even when I read Blood in My Eye by George Jackson, he actually made the case. And so, I read it on my channel, but the thing is that people need to realize is that they still are in control. It's just they make you feel like you have liberty to go wherever you want. It's just like the whole it's just like having an electric collar on you. You may not see that fence, but the moment you start to go too far outside that barrier, bzz, next thing you know.
I remind me of when I told a conservative, he was like, he's talking about the freedoms that we have here versus the freedoms of a socialist country. And what I was like, it's like, don't tell me nothing about freedom living under the Patriot Act. What are you talking about? They listening to us right now. So, but I wanted to also comment on this back on what we was talking about in the segment. They're banking on one issue voters, and it's because what else do they have? They can't run on Medicare for all. They can't run on nothing. They fucked up everything that they ran on, even funding the police, defunding the police, whatever the fuck. They still looking like, somehow looking like the bad guys. It's gonna be bad, man. It's gonna be bad. But they hold a lot of these people, but like a lot of this stuff is meant to be like this, because these parties work together and they always trade powers in between each other every 4 to 8 years. So the politicians that'll lose their job now, they still be in power. They still have, they still have health care from the government. They still be well taken care of. They still be living in a mansion. They just be on vacation for a couple of years. That's how I look at it. And they step right back in office when this party fuck up or this person fuck up or they run for a different office. It's
just gotta shake your head. All right, let's finish up the video. It looks like it's almost right at the edge. So or is that it? Was that it, Sabby, or is it already over? Or we got a few.
He just finishes this, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Obamacare, people really don't like their rights taken away, and they showed that in 2012. The Supreme Court stepped in as well and said the same thing. And I think that's what Democratic groups are trying to say here, is that why should a woman's reproductive rights be different than in Pennsylvania than Ohio? That's policy.
Yeah, I think I agree and disagree with you, Sabby. On some level, I do agree that there's an overemphasis on abortion. I do think abortion has been shown as an issue to drive turnout, and the Democrats shouldn't stop talking about it. But it's the way it is being prioritized at times to the exclusion of other issues that I think starts to hurt Democrats. Because it's great if you care about abortion, but any single issue, it's probably not going to win you an election. And that's true of even the most important issues that we have in this country. But I think we have to leave it there. I really appreciate both of you for joining us today. This has been a great.
That was another great segment, Sabby, on Ryzen. So great job. Any last comments on that segment before?
I'm just thinking like I'm thinking like Bree probably looked at the schedule and was like, hold on, hell no. I can't take it. Can you imagine? You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, they probably would have hounded her and then talked all over and shit. But it's yeah, I like that segment, man. That was cool. It's good that I see my people rising in real time. Like we really started. Damn, from nothing. We still got a ways to go, but it's still good to smell your roses while they still fresh. You know what I'm saying?
It's good to have different voices on there too, because Pasta also was on
Yeah, he
there
was on there. I saw him on
today.
there.
So it's good to see different people. Oh,
Yeah,
thank
I
you,
saw
Fed
him
Up.
on there. I saw him on there too, and he did a great job. Like I said, it's love seeing how we're just people we knew on Twitter. Just now, Pasta has been on Combo Couch, but I'm just saying some of the other people's now. Sabby has a few minutes before she has to take off, and so do I. But I want to make sure we get to the Twitter story. But before we do that, make sure you like. We have over 500 people watching now. So let's push our likes to 400. Can we push our likes to 400? That'll get a few more people in here for this. I don't know if it's going to be a debate if we disagree, but for this conversation on blue checks and Twitter and Elon Musk, we're currently at 180 likes only. So 400, that's another 200. But we could do that. We're over 500 viewers. So we pushed 200 more likes. 200 more likes. Also, join our Substack if you want to. Hey, what's up, Case? Join our Substack also if you want to get notifications. Oh, it's scrolling at the bottom. I don't have another graphic, so it's scrolling there at the bottom if you want to get notifications of streams like this and others. So here is the tweet. I'm sure, or I think all of you have seen it. If you haven't, I'll read. Twitter's current lords and peasants system for who has or doesn't have a blue check is bullshit. Power to the people, blue, for $8 a month. So let me continue the tweet. Go ahead.
What does that really mean, not JB? Damn, CJ. What is he trying to say? I know he's gonna charge for it, but is he saying that the way they go about deciding who gets a blue check mark is BS also?
Yeah. I think I do agree. I agree with that because I've been on the news like for good and bad reasons. Like, man, people get blue checks for dumbass shit, you know. And
wait, you ever applied though? Have you ever applied?
Yeah, I remember I applied. Actually, Carrie and my assistant had applied for me. I applied. My girl applied. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, I sent all the information that they wanted. They was like, nope. Well, try again whenever, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Get a little bit more famous, motherfucker. Get some more clout. I'm like, what? What the fuck this nigga got a blue check for? I go on the nigga page, he got 100 followers. I'm like, nobody, what? This not even a real page.
Yep.
What the fuck?
There's some journalists that they wouldn't give a blue check to too. I've heard people complaining about it before. Like published journalists that Twitter wouldn't give a blue check to.
I think Tara Reid got hers denied. I think was it Tara Reid? Like just a couple of weeks ago, maybe she was saying how she got her blue check. How is Tara Reid getting denied a blue check? How is she getting denied? That's just ridiculous. But let me read on because there's more here. And Nina Turner specifically replied to this phrase here, so we'll get to that also. But let's continue with what he's saying to kind of explain what's happening here. So. Price adjustment by country proportionate to the purchasing power parity. So it may be higher, it may be lower, depending which country. Priorities. So here's some of the things they get. So you will also get, so this looks like additional items. Priority in replies. That means you go to the top or something. Is that what that means?
That's Twitter blue.
So what we already get, but we pay for. So priority in replies, mentions, and searches, which is essential to defeat spam and scams. Ability to post long videos and audio. That sounds like us. And then half as many ads. Oh, and then let me continue. And paywall bypass for publishers willing to work with us. This will also give Twitter a revenue stream to reward content creators. There will be a secondary tag below the name for someone who is a public figure, which is already the case for politicians. So that's what he tweeted. And then anybody wanted to kind of chime in on like what
How
they're
did I
going to get? So
know
they're paying
Nina Turner
$8,
was
and that's
gonna
what
be
they're
at the fucking first comment? How did I know?
Well, this is what a blue check would get you actually. In the $8, she would be first in the replies. I think that's what that means. Like she would be at the top, right?
I mean, I just don't agree with this capital. Yeah. I just don't agree with this capitalist bullshit. Anyway, nobody should be charged for this shit. You know what I'm saying? I think he should have just made a fair way to actually get, you know what I'm saying, blue checks and whatnot. This would have actually, gave him another excuse to fire a lot of these people because their job was bullshit. Their job was tone policing and picking on people, starting racism in between people and whatnot. So, I think he would have made Twitter stronger like that if he would have just really, what I'm saying, let people say what they want, but really he have a team that just like don't let a nigga take it too far and whatnot, and actually have a team that's gonna verify people to say what they are or not. Because we know we've seen some fake blue checks multiple times.
The other thing too, I was gonna say is that did you guys know that people that have the blue check, they have the option to only see blue check tweets?
Yeah.
No, I did not know that.
What?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
did
Someone
not know
mentioned
that.
that to me recently. I didn't realize that. They have an option to see. I think it was Chuck Modi who said this. They have an option to only see just the people who are blue checks, and that's it.
Wow.
Yep.
Man.
This is a class
This is a
system,
class.
boy. Because they're getting it without paying. I guess paying, I don't know if that makes it still a class system. Go ahead, JB.
Oh no, definitely, CJ. It definitely is a class issue because how many people can even still afford the $8 a month?
Yeah.
Yep.
If you can't afford to pay anything, and yet let's say you made a big name for yourself, but you still can't afford it. Well, you should still be having that blue check. But the thing is that this actually is even more capitalist than it was before. See, it was rigged before because there's certain people who actually did, some things, even though they may not have the money for it. But now it's even more of a capitalist thing. So now it's just the people who have money can be verified or can have the blue check. But the people, if you're broke, sorry, even if you did something significant, even if you're famous, it doesn't matter. And so it's just crazy because the thing is that people are sitting there going, and the funny part was you had all these rich people going, I'm not paying $20 a month for verification. And I'm like, y'all already got money. What the heck y'all crying about?
Right.
So much so that I even put a tweet out about it. I said, I see a lot of rich folks who have Twitter verification suddenly crying about having to pay $20 for it. I thought you guys like capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they're crying. They're like, oh, I don't want to pay for it. I'm like, I guess this is the part about capitalism that y'all don't like.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck y'all thought a billionaire was gonna do? Jack was selling y'all information. What do you think how do you think he got rich off of fucking Twitter? What was so no. You telling me just because celebrities came on that made no, you need a stream of revenue. How is he getting that money?
Mm-hmm.
You are gonna pay. Nothing is free. Facebook, it's all the same. Nothing is free. And you got capitalism up in your face. You know what I'm saying? They ain't doing it behind the scenes. He just like, look, you're gonna have to pay to play. And I don't like it, but what the fuck you gonna do? You gonna buy Twitter and change the rules?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because at the same time, it can give other people opportunity that weren't given opportunity before. Because, like I said, it's a weird system. Like Rome has seen some people with like 100 followers have a blue check, but then you'll see people like Nick has an account like over 80,000 people follow Nick, Nick doesn't have a blue check. So it was like all these different requirements that they want you to meet, or like you have to be trending or something like that, like on Google, or you have to have a Wikipedia page. And so what happens is, for those of us that do like podcasts and stuff like that, people who do have blue checks, if they're only looking at the option to see only blue checks, they don't even know RBN exists.
Right.
Or give a fuck, because if they see us talking shit about them, they just gonna go back to that option. Like, yeah, fuck this, fuck these.
Just scrolling through some of the comments, you saw Chili's, the restaurant, replied. Piers Morgan replied, and I've never seen so many blue checks in a quote in these retweets. I've never seen these many blue checks in a retweet.
It's like Smurfs in real life. It's like you never see them when they're actually there.
It's almost like they almost look like tears the faster you go down.
Yeah. And what people have to understand, I see some people in this quote tweet replying saying like it's verification of authenticity. But what they have to understand is that a couple years ago, Twitter changed the rules where it wasn't just about a verification. Like I said, you have to meet a certain number of requirements. And some of those requirements include like you have to have a Wikipedia page, or you have to be trending in Google search. So they made it harder for people to get those blue checks. So if you had a blue check like 3 or 4 years ago, you may not realize that.
That's a great point. I think that's enough to show of these replies. Like it's literally though about half and half. Like there's some people that's like, okay, cool, or some funny comment, but to get mad, to get this angry over this, to me, it's a bit weird. So let's zoom out and then let's just go to what people are saying about Elon, just to get some of their adversarial comments. Let's search.
The Lord's shit. It is. I mean, is he wrong?
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Why is y'all so mad? I mean, y'all, like JB said, I thought you guys liked it this way. Why don't you want it to be cold?
Yeah, I mean, y'all like capitalism so much. Hell, y'all even put him in the second Iron Man movie. Y'all liked him so much. So now he actually applies capitalism. Now y'all want to have a fit. Y'all have a conniption because he actually applying what the economic system that you all believe in to you, and now y'all getting mad. I'm like, okay, so you guys actually don't want it. You guys actually don't want to pay for it. Y'all actually want something a little bit different. And I'm not saying that people who work for Twitter shouldn't get it, but my thing is, and this is what Margaret Kimberly said. Look. If Twitter is working in league with the national security state, and the national security state is actually pointing to people who actually they don't want their voice to be applied, then guess what? Twitter is actually a tool of the United States government. So when Twitter actually deletes somebody for what they actually say, guess what? They're actually in violation of free speech. So Twitter actually should be a public utility. But the thing is, people don't want to talk about it because people are like, oh, now you want to be run by the government? Well, actually, if our government wasn't ran by money interests and by oligarchs, then yeah, I actually think that it should be ran by the people. But the thing is, now people aren't ready for that conversation. And then people, once you start applying it to a capitalistic endeavors, then everybody wants to get all pissed off and mad. They're like, oh, well, you can't charge me for this. And it's like, well, guess what, motherfucker? I have been charged. It was just your information. Instead, now it's going to be the money straight out your pocket. So it's like choose one, because if you want to live in a capitalist system, there you go. Now it's more in your face, like Rome said, and now it's more in your face. Now it's literally coming out your paycheck. So people need to people are now starting to wake up. But
they didn't get all the information. They didn't get all the information they needed out of the people. They got many systems and technologies, and you know what I'm saying, your phone in your hand and your whatever, everything listening to you, talking to you, they hear you. Yes, and it's not a conspiracy. Like they literally do it.
But here's the crazy part. You got some people that were like, oh, we got a different billionaire. Just because their favorite billionaire is now owning Twitter. Like, y'all didn't have a problem with the other billionaire owning Twitter.
That's right.
Nothing about this.
Y'all didn't say nothing when Jack was owning Twitter, but now Elon owns Twitter and still doing capitalist bullshit. Y'all suddenly have a problem? Like, y'all choosing billionaires? Like, Die by fire or die by drowning. Oh wow! I want to die by drowning because it's worse. It's less than fire. You
But
still
at least I'll be warm. I'm anemic, man. I'll be warm if I.
And if that's the case, then how do they feel about YouTube and Rumble and Rockfin's a worker co-op? But how do they feel about those platforms too? I mean, I'm sorry, but same thing with Call-In. Like, how do they feel about JP? I can't.
Go ahead, JP.
No. I'm just saying. I mean,
they pay for everything else. I mean, I'm pretty sure these people got Netflix and like this. This is just something for them to be mad at because they have no real problems in the world.
Netflix and chill, Twitter and twerk.
This is their way of getting their people distracted and away from real class issues that's going on, real shit that's going on, like the war in Ukraine. Or like how we just invaded Haiti. So now all these blue checks and their celebrities and their followers, now they all doing this little riffraff, all this bullshit just to keep the people of Twitter and the people, you know what I'm saying, just people to keep the people distracted of what's really going on. This really isn't that important. It wasn't that important. And sooner or later you was gonna pay. You know what I'm saying? And hey.
I'm gonna say something else too. Some people may not like this, but I think some of those people with the blue checks may not want everyday peeps to have a blue check too.
Yep. That's a big thing. That's what it is. They're like, oh shit, they can just pay for it.
Elitism. That's what it is.
I think that's spot on, Sabby. I think that's 100% correct, because blue is about class. It's about because humans want to, or Americans, I should say, not all humans, but Americans' culture is to feel like you're better, to like so whatever that is, to be like I'm in bottle service, in the clubs. I'm in VIP. It's all to make it feel like I'm a different human, because
all right.
mortality is the thing you got to face. But anyway. I'm gonna be leaving here in a second, so I'm gonna pass the MC duties to JB, and prep the next story while I do the announcement stuff. Sabby, how much time do you have with us before you're gonna be leaving too? You got a little bit.
Yeah, till 5:45.
Okay, good. Okay, so I'll leave before you leave. But JB, if you could prep the next story, but as you're prepping that story, if you didn't notice. There was a comedy clip uploaded to RBN. And I want to just give it a preview. Not going to play all of it. It's called The Adventures of Jim Crow. I'm sorry, The Adventures. Let me get the name right. It's down here. The Adventures of Jim Crow Joe. So this comedy writer and animator put this together. I told him I would upload it to RBN. It's pretty good, so let's watch a little bit of it, and as JB prepares for the next segment.
Meow.
Introducing The Adventures of Crow Joe. Roll. Jim Crow Joe. Roll. Jim Crow Joe. Roll. Jim Crow Joe. Recorded for a live audience.
Ooh, tickle me. Yeah, smells so good. Is it ice cream hour already?
Soon, Boopsie. Before any yum-yums, you have to sign.
If that's an executive order for forgiving more student loans, I don't wanna.
It's not.
Young people, give me a break. If they want an education, why don't they enlist? There's Ukraine and Taiwan, Afghanistan's so old school Vietnam.
Honey Bunch, focus, please.
No, I have no empathy.
And no worries, big guy. You're just nominating Vijay Shankar to the DC Court of Appeals.
Ugh, that guy Trump nominated?
Yes, Snugglewumps. One and the same.
I hear his office lets cops rough up black folk. Ha! Totes! My kind of guy.
When he finds out I got it done, that'll burn Trump's orange buns.
What's up?
Yeah, I'll stop it there. Yeah, with them walking across because it gets.
Who the hell made this?
I'll tell you who it is. I can send you their. But back a couple months ago, I put a little call out to say, hey, people that are, that do this type of work, we're interested in adding comedy to RBN. So this is, I mean, it took a long time to work. This is tedious work because they have to each angle. They have to adjust, so it's tedious work. So it took them this long to make this. And they have some puppets, and then we're gonna be doing some actors too. So, but this is just dipping our feet into it just to see how it's gonna go, how the production, all of this sort of stuff. Because we want to bring comedy to RBN, we want to bring the missing persons, we want to bring weather to RBN, we want to bring different types of things, sports and all that stuff. So just go check out the video, give suggestions. But that's gonna be my time, everybody. I'm gonna be checking out. Typically we have a NBA show later tonight. I'm still waiting for Chuck to see if it happens. If it doesn't, then it might be tomorrow. So, but I'm gonna check out, everybody, and see you later.
All right,
CJ.
All right, kiddos. It's my time to shine. I was kidding. So it's good to see you. To continue here, one of the things I want to do.
Yeah, we're in the hood
now. So I just want to go over just a couple of super chats as well as comments on Rockman before we continue. We have this from MS. Thank you so much for the super chat. It says, if we're going to take down the duopoly, we need to know what to target. Read Tragedy and Hope, the original edition. Thank you so much for that. Frank Justin says, could I put my blue check on layaway?
Facts.
Yeah, we used to live on layaway. Let me tell you, All right. Jay says, the Saudi royal fam used to be the biggest shareholder of Twitter before Elon. Strange how these complaining blue checks had no problem with that. That is also very, very interesting. Marvin says, no one is talking about peace. Sent $65 billion to Ukraine. Thank you very much for that as well. GoStart says, CNBC now breaking. Supreme Court temporarily blocks Trump tax records from being given to Congress. That's also very interesting. That's breaking news. So thank you for that, GoStart. But yeah, it's never going to happen. Trump is one of them. He's literally playing a role. They all are part of the same team.
They just tell him, do this right now, say this, chill out, it'll all work out. Everybody gonna get their power back. Everybody gonna get their job back. We just need you to get a bad guy for a couple of hours. But somebody has said something about $65 billion to Ukraine, and this is it's kind of embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? For anybody that really like the military and all that shit, like this is embarrassing. If y'all really knew how much Russia spends on their military alone just a year, it's not even close to that. And not even, we just counting the money that we send it to Ukraine. All the money that the West has accumulated all together to try to stop Russia. If they haven't stopped Russia now, I don't see us stopping Russia. I really don't. And a lot of people know this. They feel the same way. That's why the majority of the country is like, what the fuck are y'all doing? That was one thing that we always joked about, but we always knew. Never go to war never poke the sleeping bear. Don't poke the Russian bear.
Yep.
Yeah, it hasn't even been a year. It hasn't even been a year. Think about how bad this shit is gonna get. If you think, man, Yes, your shit costs $5 now. Shit, the $5 about to be 10.
Mm-hmm. So Rodrigo says Biden's lifelong dreams to cut Social Security. That is also very true. And by the way, that whole thing about Obama talking about, Social Security. Did you guys ever get a chance to see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is your thoughts on that, Sabby? Because to me, it was just complete and utter BS as what Obama was talking about.
I mean, it's I want someone to shout back at him and say, well, Joe Biden also wanted to cut Social Security and Medicare, and you chose him as a running mate.
Mm-hmm.
And how many people, like many of us probably would have yelled out, "You tried to cut Social Security back in 2012 until Bernie Sanders threatened to run against you as a primary." But nobody wants to talk about that. So, it's just like, and you can't talk about patrons saying Obama, especially with older black people, because then they'll shame you. He's the first black president. I'm like, I don't care.
You think out of all the people, you think the young people is patriotic? Mm-hmm. No, we don't give a fuck about this damn country. We're just trying to eat and pay our damn bills. Like, people ain't thinking about y'all ass.
So Marvin also says he has a who farted. Look, she's talking about Robbie. Sorry.
Marvin, no.
A non-user says GOP is never anti-war, just anti-DNC war. DNC is never anti-war, just anti-GOP war. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you. Let me see. Just glad. Oh, you gotta go, Sabby?
Yeah, 5:45. Gotta head out.
Oh, okay. So what you got coming on tonight before you go?
What am I talking about? I'm talking about Brazil elections tonight.
Yeah.
And then Obama speeches and question number 3 on the ballot. And I forget, there was one more I forgot. Oh yeah, this whole issue with Paul Pelosi's arrest, or excuse me, not arrest. Paul Pelosi, and some people are blaming Jimmy Dore for this whole.
They blaming Jimmy Dore for that shit. They blaming Jimmy Dore. What they need to do is check those hammers for fucking for Finkel matter. That's what they need to do.
Look. No,
I'm gone.
All right. Bye, Sabs. Look, she left the 2 bad kids, to finish out the rest of the show. So you know what that means. When me and Rome get together, all 456 of y'all better get ready. So let me do a responsible thing and finish on some of these. Let me do a responsible thing and finish on some of these before we get started, because I know you, Rome. I know you sticking around here because you know something's.
I ain't saying nothing.
Let's see.
But I just don't. I want to know. I just want to know who's blaming Jimmy Dore and how is that his fault? What they must be neighbors or something? What is it? What happened?
I don't know. Rob says, I'm just glad I can believe what I'm hearing. Thank you so much. Eric says, real policy is dangerous for the donor owners.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Jay Bryson says they're banking. Oh, okay. You already spoke on that.
Yeah.
Super Steamster Sewing Show says, love what you do. Sab, CJ, Rome, JB, Black and Strong. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Appreciate that.
I can't believe
Comrade Sean says, I can't believe I what?
I can't believe you get that name on the first try.
That's why they pay me the big bucks. I'm just kidding.
You
Comrade Sean says, no. Comrade Sean says, if blue check politicians can set it to only seeing blue checks and replies, it can effectively mute poor people like they don't exist. Ooh.
I mean, they already do it in real life. Why not?
Yeah, true. Rob also says, just want you guys at RBN to know I love what you do. Thanks. Thank you, Rob. Reality Revolution says, think Dems are using rent a crowd in their campaigns. Most likely, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think they use. Yeah.
I remember when I was working for Bernie, and the motherfuckings what's her name? We always go, Miss Williamson,
Marianne.
Yeah, Marianne Williamson. Yeah, she had to rent a crowd for sure. They had routine signs that very expensive signs, you know what I'm saying? Like this shit had to come from up top type shit. But yep, of course.
Yeah.
They gotta make themselves look more popular than what they already are. Do you think people are really, you know what I'm saying, so enthusiastic about a fucking politician they would create a dance move about these motherfuckers and have a whole routine? Like, no, you gotta pay me to do some shit like that. I don't give a fuck about this is my motherfucking job.
Yeah. So before we go, I got one thing I want to show you, Rome. I shared it on Twitter already. You may have already saw it, but you know, if people don't think that anti-blackness doesn't exist in this country, man, and it continues to keep going as long as we continue to keep having this system, I don't know what to tell you. So hang on. As soon as I can get this thing. Let me share my screen real quick because this went viral. This came out last night because it was Halloween. All right, let me see. So I said, let these dudes walk into a black neighborhood with blackface on.
Do you understand that none of you will
put
get
it that way?
Do you guys understand the consequences of what you've just done?
No.
You guys are not going to get into a college. You guys are not going to get any scholarships because this is a hate crime.
We all dropped out of high school. It's okay.
If I still don't think it's appropriate for you guys to be doing this. It's really not funny.
So these kids, they just put themselves in danger and they don't even know it.
Man, because I know I probably would have called my nephews real quick. Like, hold on, it's some little, you know what I'm saying? We got some little crackers want to get dipped in some soup over here. But real shit, that shit to get you fucked up. They couldn't have been in no black neighborhood. They knew they did that shit where they was safe, where they thought they were safe. Obviously, they are in a racist town because people let them get this far with this shit. And they feel comfortable enough to do it. Their parents are racist. Where they do this shit at?
Yo, real talk. He was like, well, we dropped out of school. So I would have been like, that ain't, if you were in a black neighborhood, that would have been the only thing that you would have got dropped out of.
Oh, yeah.
Trust and believe. See, here's the thing. When you're in a comfortable space where you know that you won't receive much backlash for your shit takes, then you're willing to, you know, surround yourself around this, right? But I'm going to tell you right now, okay? Guess what? There's going to be an apology letter. There's going to be I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to say all this racist stuff, and that's not who I am. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And
But
by
then
the way,
I don't teach my kids I never taught my kids to be racist. Bullshit. I hate when white people say that shit. I hate when white people say that shit because I know it's a lie. Because and you want to know one thing, how dangerous racism is, because a lot of white people just don't even touch on it. So they just let racism just linger. They don't even try to teach their kids that it is the rights or wrong from it. They just let it go. Can't control their motherfucking kids. Let them do whatever the fuck.
Right?
Boys will be boys type bullshit. You're right.
And here's the funny thing. That was a conscious effort. You literally had to take time
Yeah.
to go in front of the mirror. You had to go to the store, get the actual makeup to purchase it. This was pre-planned. Then you went in front of the mirror. Then you had to take time to put on that makeup, and then you put on the clothes of a prisoner, and you took the time. And it's not like the women put on blackface to make themselves look like a female black corrections officer. No, they kept their skin white to make them look white, so they knew exactly what the fuck they were doing. And you mean to tell me that, because here's the thing, systemic racism starts at the systemic level, right? And so whenever we talk about it as they know what it is. That was a pure example of they know about the carceral state. They know about it, and yet they still want to make fun of it. And people would be like, "Oh, well, it's just comedy." And it's like, well, yeah, maybe comedy, but guess what? They cannot be shielded from the backlash, the public backlash that's about to happen to them.
All right, you have freedom of speech, not just freedom of consequences. I don't know what the hell people be thinking, and I know it's gonna be a lot of people saying, "Oh, this shouldn't reflect and mess up their futures." Yes, it should. Yes, it should. And I don't care if they drop. They saying, "Oh, we're dropping out of high school." No, you're not. You about to get kicked out of high school. Ain't no coming back after that video. You know it. And the parents are gonna have to answer to that viral video, and then we're gonna see how we know how this goes with these white people who have these racist kids. Oh, we don't see color. Well, that's a problem itself. That's like one of some of the most racist shit that you can do is not see color. You don't see all these black people being missed. Like, come on, let's stop it.
Oh no, they see color. They know they're white.
Oh yeah.
So the thing is,
right? They see color when the police come. You know what I'm saying? They see color when it's time to harass our ass. They know their colors, right?
Yep, and they know they say blue lives matter. They saw color. Here's my thing. It's just like that video. That one video said, the more you fuck around, the more you find out. Guess what? I think they're finding out already today, because that was last night. So I just want to get your thoughts on that, man, because I saw that.
Fuck them little crackers, man. They get their shit together though. Because it's either one or two things. You live, you know what I'm saying? You learn or you burn. Hey. You do it again. I don't see them making it too far. Like they better stay in the white neighborhood for the rest of their motherfucking life, because you ain't outliving the internet.
Oh boy,
they're gonna have.
Yeah, they may get kicked. They're in Utah. They may get kicked. I don't know if they're gonna get kicked out of the LDS church, because they're like, oh, they've repented, but whatever. But yeah,
that shit.
Yeah, but that was a little something I just wanted to, display and just get your thoughts on, because look, it still happens in this country, and that's Gen Z people. That's not some old generation. That's not some old thing. That was last night with a bunch of kids. So
people say racism is over because they want to feel comfortable. They want to they know what their people have done. You know what I'm saying? They feel like they got their education on it, so they don't want to talk on it even more, even though it's still happening to our people. So they're like, oh, it's different now. No, it's different in a way of, blacks and whites are fucking now. Okay.
Yeah.
But we all still getting fucked against the government now. So who gives a fuck? And like, is that even a right? Is that a real right? Did the people vote on that? I don't know.
Right. What are you talking about?
The black and white, shit. But anyways, yeah, I gotta go, man. I gotta thanks to people for sending me some money, because I was fucking flat broke, man. It was tough. It been tough on me, man. Fuck.
Yeah, definitely. So what you got coming up soon, Rome?
Shit, man. I'm probably I think I found the producer for my show that's in Detroit. so we can actually work hand in hand. I'm gonna try to get that together. I still ain't put up the fucking GoFundMe because I've been busy with the event. But I'm gonna try to have that up. We are building a library. You guys. It's gonna be so fucking dope. I'm gonna program so many children to be communists. I'm gonna program these children in Detroit to be communists. It's gonna be dope. And
butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Just take a look. It's in the book of reading rainbow.
And I get it. And I'm gonna try my best to I got some people that want to donate. They said they can donate some laptops and desktops and whatnot, but that's not the the stage that we are on right now. The stage that we are on is we need to basically rebuild the inside, and I need to work on. Right now, we got to rip down some stuff, demolish some stuff, rip up the carpet, and it's gonna cost some money. So I'm gonna be putting up a GoFundMe, and I'm still reaching out with a couple of grants to see if we can get some money to start it, start a nice library in Detroit for the people.
So just for anybody that's on, that's watching here on RBN, if you're near the Detroit area, if you know how to do sheetrock, if you know how to do tile, carpeting, if you know how to do carpentry, if you know how to do if you're an electrician, if you're, anybody that could be used, for, this, if you want to just donate your time and your energy as, mutual aid for this library, hey, to go ahead and get in touch with Rome. Because the thing is that that's something that's really good. If you have some books that are you taking donations for books? I'm sorry, I didn't ask.
Yeah, we're taking donations for it all, man. And I really want to, have this library really based around socialism. So anything anti-capitalism and anything communism, socialism, books that were banned, stuff that had something to do with slavery, all that. We want to really talk about the history of America and whatnot. I just don't want, I don't want, because I know, like, the power is in a book, right? But it depends on what book that you are reading, you know what I'm saying? Because you can end up giving your power to a whole nother motherfucker. Like, it's what capitalism has done, even to our smartest people. Some of our smartest people are some of the dumbest people. And that's just the education that America has left us with, no common sense. This is why people are screaming over anti-war protesters saying cancel student loans over a nuclear fucking war.
Yeah. Also, if you guys, if you guys can donate, or even if you can't donate, make sure to follow Rome on Twitter and then retweet, the links to any of the pay sites that he uses to raise money as well. So make sure to do that. As for me, the newest readings on my channel from Blood in My Eye, as well as the readings for Dirty Truth by Michael Parenti, I have read those. I'm reading those. I got one more reading for Blood in My Eye, and I'm done. And this book is done. So if you guys want to get into that, I do that exclusively on Rockfin. So if you guys want to get into that. And also, if you guys would like to, you guys can always go to my channel, and check me out. I'm going to be
I was just thinking about bringing back RBN Radio to Rockville. Because they didn't flag us. Like, I played music for like 10 hours one day, and they didn't flag none of it.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be cool if you want to do that. But yeah, so if you guys would like to, I put the link to my channel in the description. But anything else wrong before we go? I gotta get, because I know
smoke them if you got them.
You know what I gotta say.
Yes, miss. I do need volunteers. I'm gonna need volunteers pretty soon. First, we need the money. Like, that's what we need. I'm not gonna lie. We need money. We need grants. It's a lot of work that needs to be done, but not too much. We're gonna start tackling certain things at a time. Like, I know I got to get the carpet done. That's like,
yep.
right after the walls get torn down. But
yeah,
drywall and paint. Bet. Hit me up on Twitter.
Yep. Hey, Room. Want to give the audience forehead kisses? Go ahead. Give it to them. Yeah. Bye, everybody. Deuces. Mwah!